Good day, everyone. So today we shall be diving into another interesting topic, that is the belt and chain drives. In this topic, we'll be learning the advantages of belt drive and its disadvantages, as well as the advantages and disadvantages of chain drive. We also be learning the applications of these two drives during the course of this lesson. So join me as we begin. So firstly, I would like us to start with the belt drive advantages. The belt drive is very simple and economical. That's the first advantage. Very simple to implement and it is cost effective. You don't have to spend too much for you to build or develop your belt drive. And number two, it does not require parallel shafts. Okay, unlike the gear drive that require parallel shaft. For belt drive, it's not necessarily important that you make the shaft to be parallel. So that is, the shaft are flexible. They are flexible and you can align them with ease. Thirdly, when you make it a belt drive, it does not generate noise, or rather it reduces noise, dampens noise and vibration, so making the work to be smooth, provides smoother operation. Fourthly, with belt drive, there is no need for lubrication. You don't have to apply oil to the belt because of friction, because it does not require it. So in that case, it reduces maintenance because you don't have to buy any grease or oil or any lubricant so that you can reduce friction. So it does not require lubrication. And the fifth advantage of the belt drive is that it's built against jam. Okay, that's built-in safety against jam. Even when you overload it, when you overload the belt drive, it does not jam or lock itself. Okay, so it has a built-in safety against jams. Okay, and lastly, it has high efficiency. The belt drive high efficiency, up to 98% efficient in transmitting power. Is that not awesome? So the belt drive has a very, very massive advantage. But then, whatever has advantage, we also have disadvantage. Can we now consider some of the disadvantages of belt drive? Firstly, one disadvantage about belt drive is that it slip and stretch. It slip off its position and stretch. Okay, and when that happens, the angular velocity ratio will not be constant. Okay, and the effect of this is that it will reduce its efficiency. So the point here is that the belt drive can slip off its position and stretch. Number two disadvantage is that it build up heat, and when it's building up heat, it can lead to the limitation of the operation. It can lead to operational limitation. It will not be effective as it should be because of the heat that has been built up. Actually, heat is a form of energy, but a wasted energy. And when it's being built up, it reduces the efficiency of the machine. So that's the effect of the heat that it builds up, which is a disadvantage. Again, another disadvantage about belt drive is that it has temperature range or temperature restriction. There's a particular temperature that you cannot make it of belt drive. The temperature range is between 35 degrees Celsius minus 35 degrees Celsius actually to 85 degrees Celsius. Anything outside this, the belt drive will not function properly. So that is a disadvantage when it is restricted to a range of temperature. And then lastly, there is need for adjustment. It requires that you adjust this belt drive so that it does not wear off. is a disadvantage. When you have to adjust and adjust and adjust and adjust the distance between the shaft, is a big disadvantage. Now we have seen the disadvantage and also the advantages of bed drive. Can we now go into the next drive, the chain drive, its advantages and disadvantages? Okay, so for the chain drive, one of the advantages of the chain drive is that it does not slip off its position or off the shaft, unlike the belt drive that slip. So it is it is firm. Okay, it is firm on the shaft and it does not slip off. Number two is that it has more is compacted. Okay, in other words, it does not occupy space. It occupies lesser space than the belt drive. The chain drive occupies lesser space than the belt drive. Thirdly, the chain drive is easier to install. Okay, more easier than to install than that of the belt drive. So you can easily install chain drive because the steps is very simple. And lastly, one thing about a belt drive, the chain drive, is that it is resistant to elements. It's not affected by oil or sunlight or even age. So the chain drive can last as long as possible because it's not affected by sunlight, it's not affected by oil, so it cannot be worn out by these substances. It has strong resistance to elements, and that is the advantage for chain drive because this will allow for longevity of the drive. However, can we now consider the disadvantage of this chain drive? Number one, chain drive has high production cost, more expensive to manufacture than that of belt drive. That's a big disadvantage. Number two, unlike the belt drive that does not really require parallel alignment or parallel shaft, but for that of chain drive, there must be precise alignment. Okay, you have to be careful in the setup before you can make use of it. And thirdly, it requires frequent lubrication. Unlike that of belt drive that does not require lubrication, the reverse is the case for chain drive. You have to lubricate it regularly, which will cost maintenance. Number four, it generates noise and vibration because of the fact that it's chain, so it can produce significant noise, which is a menace to the company or organization that is using it or industry. Another disadvantage about the chain drive is that it cannot sleep. Okay, is that really amazing? No, we talk about the belt drive that it can sleep, right? As a disadvantage. But here we are saying that it's a disadvantage for the chain drive not to sleep. This is because there are some applications that require sleep, that require that there should be sleeping. So in such application, you cannot make use of the chain drive because it cannot sleep. And lastly, it is lower load capacity. It doesn't have the capacity to take higher load. It has only capacity for lower load compared to that of gear drive. The gear drive can take higher load, but this cannot take higher load. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of both the belt drive and the chain drive. Let's now go into their uses. The uses of belt drive. Generally, whether it is belt drive or the chain drive, they are both used for transmission of power. Okay. Now, another use or application of belt drive is that it is used in tracking relative movement. You want to track relative movement between two objects, then the belt drive can be used. The belt drive is also used in sewing machine in utilizing synchronous timing belt So you make it of this type of belt drive, the timing belt drive in sewing machine. We also make use of the belt drive in automotive timing belt, okay, in vehicles. And we can also see the belt drive at play in treadmill. So when you go to treadmills, you'll find out that the belt drive is being used in running the machine. All right. So these are some of the uses of the belt drive that we have, and we can also see some of the uses of the chain drive too. We use the chain drive in rigging and movement for heavy materials. We also use it in hydraulic lift trucks. Trucks makes it of the chain drive. Then we use the chain drive in altering speed as well. If you want to change the speed, okay, if you want to change the direction of a speed, you make it of the chain drive. And we also use the chain drive in overhead hoist for vertical lifting, and we use the chain drive in conveyor belts. In this case, we use it for material transportation, for transporting material from one place to the other. Right? So, what are the comparison or the differences between the belt drive and the chain drive? Number one, the belt drive is made up of polymers, while the chain drive is made up of alloys. Two, the belt drive has high speed operation, but the chain drive has high load operation. If you want speed, make use of the belt drive, but if you want load, you want to transport load, then make use of the chain drive. Thirdly, the belt drive does not need lubrication, but the chain drive requires lubrication for it not to break down. The belt drive requires dry condition, place that is dry, but that of chain drive work in high temperature, okay, or most condition. You know, we talk about the belt drive having a limited temperature when anything outside that it will break down. Again, the belt drive quietly operates, does not make noise, but the chain drive makes noise a lot. The belt drive is powered by a belt, while the chain drive is powered by a chain loop. So these are the key differences between the belt drive and the chain drives. Alright? So, what is now common between them? What is the similarity? Both the belt drive and the chain drive, like I said before this time, are used for the transmission of power and for the movement of objects within machine. So that those are the similarities between them. They both transmit power and they are both used in moving objects from one point to the other. So I have some question or assignment for you. So based on what you have learned today, you're going to state for me 5 advantages and 4 disadvantages of belt drive. Then you mention 5 advantages and 6 disadvantages of chain drive. Remember, we mentioned the uses of this drive. So reflect on the distinct features and the application of each of these drive system. So I'm going to be drawing my curtain here today. I hope you have learned something today on chain drive and belt drive. Alright? Thank you for watching. Until we meet again. Bye for now.